What is up, Broncos fans? The Denver Broncos Show, back here again to do another video. As promised, I said I would be back this week with another video recapping some of the free agency news regarding the Broncos as it came out, and boy did a ton of news and a ton of bombs drop for the Broncos yesterday, with players finally being able to officially sign their new contracts with their current team or with a new team yesterday. So obviously not a great time to be a Broncos fan right now. We lost a ton of talent yesterday. Going to give my take on, obviously, the three guys we lost in free agency yesterday, in Brock Osweiler, Malik Jackson, Trevathan. But also to start this video, I'm going to talk about two players that the Broncos actually cut, which I was a little surprised by. Wasn't really surprised by one of them, but I was also very surprised by the other player that we cut. So touch on all that here in this video. Again, Broncos cut two players, as I mentioned yesterday, in guard Luis Vasquez and tight end Owen. Daniels is a guy that made some big catches for us, especially in the playoffs. But you look at the tight end position for us, we got Virgil Green, who's a young and up-and-coming tight end, who's probably a better blocker than Owen Daniels. He's probably a better athlete, and is a guy that now you get rid of Owen Daniels, and now he kind of has a chance to shine even more so. And then we got Jeff Heuerman, who everyone is kind of forgetting. I believe our second or third round pick last year, tight end out of Ohio State, tore his ACL in, I believe, minicamp last year, rookie minicamp. So just unfortunate for him there. But now he's healthy, and I think with the Broncos releasing Owen Daniels, they're kind of showing a sign of confidence, so to say, in Jeff Heuerman. And I expect big things from him now going into this year. So I don't think Owen Daniels is too big a loss. As for Luis Vasquez, I was stunned that we released Luis Vasquez. This is the one move that kind of had me scratching my head, so to say. It does save us $6.75 million in cap in releasing Luis Vasquez, so you like the cap relief, the financial relief there. But just our offensive line, especially our interior offensive line, is already shaky enough. There's no question that Luis Vasquez was the best interior offensive lineman we had, and to just cut him and really have no plan B, again, kind of scratch your head there. And you could make a argument Luis Vasquez was our most consistent and probably best offensive lineman last season. And this is a guy that we had a ton of success with as well. We went to two AFC title games with him. He made a Pro Bowl and an All-Pro team with us. In his first season here, we went to 2 Super Bowls with him, won one. This is a guy that's obviously been a part of a lot of success here in the past few years. So just kind of disappointing to see him go. But, this is a guy that is in the prime of his career. Luis Vasquez is only 28. He's going to have a plethora of suitors, that want his services. And, whatever team gets him, they're going to upgrade their interior offensive line immensely, not only from a talent level perspective, but from a physicality perspective and an intelligence perspective. And a guy that is a proven winner, has championship experience now. Just kind of a tough one to swallow here, losing Luis Vasquez. But, thank you to him. He was a guy, again, was such a stalwart for us in that interior offensive line the past 3 years, and I really can't thank him enough for what he's done as a member of the Denver Broncos. And again, congratulations to him that he got a ring this year and kind of got a ring out of his time with us. And this is a guy that's not going to be unemployed for long. So thank you to Luis Vasquez and Owen Daniels. Best of luck to both of them. And kind of a bummer to see Vasquez go. But Owen Daniels kind of not really surprised there. But nonetheless, thank you to both of them, and good luck to both of them in free agency and finding new homes. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start diving in on these three players, of course, the Broncos lost in free agency yesterday, starting with probably the biggest domino to fall, so to say, in quarterback Brock Osweiler, who signed with the Houston Texans. He signed a 4-year, $72 million deal to become the new starting quarterback of the Texans and, of course, leave the Broncos. This was a shocker, honestly. When this news dropped yesterday afternoon, I was stunned. I was kind of speechless. I really didn't know what to make of it. I was actually with a friend of mine up in a casino here in Colorado, gambling and just having some fun and all that jazz. And he looked up at the TV and was like, "What is that?" And so obviously, I from his reaction, I looked up at the TV as well while we were gambling. We were watching this TV, and on the TV it was NFL Network, and it says Houston Texans agree to terms with Brock Osweiler, and I was just stunned. Good for Brock. This is kind of a weird situation for me. I don't really know how to feel about this, so to say. I've seen really two kind of lines of thinking with Brock Osweiler. You got the fans out there and the media out there that are really salty at Brock and just kind of mad at him and really just kind of going off on him. But then you kind of have this other, line of thinking in this other camp of Broncos fans and media that are just kind of like good riddance. The guy was overrated. He wasn't worth $18 million anyway. And ultimately this will be a great decision for the Broncos long term as a franchise. So I'm kind of in the middle, so to say, of those two parties and those two lines of thinking. I don't really have any hatred towards Brock. I mean, if you're really being honest, this is a guy that had 7 starts with us. I'm not really, too sad that we didn't pay a guy that started 6 games $72 million and $18 million per season. That's kind of how I feel. But I'm definitely disappointed because I know the potential that Brock has. I know, the physical ability that he has. He's only going to get better. And, it's disappointing that we weren't able to see what we could have been with Brock as our quarterback. But, if you kind of read some of the articles that have been coming out, at least, over the past 24 hours here in Denver, it seemed like Brock just didn't want to be in Denver. And that's kind of the main reason he left. I guess, after he got benched in Week 17 in favor of Peyton Manning and going into the playoffs, that kind of hurt his feelings, so to say. And I guess from that moment on, and once that decision was made, Brock kind of just was like, yeah, kind of already had one foot out the door from there. And wanted a fresh start with another team. And kudos to him for getting that fresh start here with a very solid team in Houston, and getting paid as well. I mean, we were offering him 4 years, $64 million, which would have been $16 million a year, which to me still is an incredible offer and still honestly too much money for Brock. So, we offered him a great deal, but he gets $8 million more total and $2 million more annually with this deal with Houston. So, I can't blame him for him for making that decision. I mean, people got to remember, players don't give a shit about us as fans. They don't give a shit about loyalty because most teams don't show loyalty back. And ultimately, this is a business, and Brock Osweiler made a business decision. Now, do I think he made kind of a petty greed decision? Yes. I mean, to want to leave such a great franchise in a great position and a great opportunity because, you got butt hurt and you got your feelings hurt because you got benched, going into the playoffs. That's a little petty for sure, especially when we're still going to offer you $16 million a year. And, I don't want to shit on the Houston Texans parade, so to say, rain on their parade right now and really, kind of show hatred towards them or their fans here. But if we're being honest and we're looking at this completely objectively and completely unbiased, the Broncos give Brock Osweiler a much better chance to not only compete for a Super Bowl now, but in the future than the Houston Texans will. Don't get me wrong. Houston's a great situation for him. Bill O'Brien's a great offensive mind. He's got a budding young star in DeAndre Hopkins to throw the ball to. They added Lamar Miller, at the running back position yesterday as well in free agency from Miami. So he's got some nice weapons, around him. And they obviously have a very solid defense led by J.J. Watt. But you can hype up J.J. Watt all you want, Jadeveon Clowney all you want, Vince Wilfork, Brian Cushing. Our defense runs circles around the Texans' defense without even Malik Jackson. So, not to mention we got 2 guys on the outside offensively named Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. So, I mean, if you're looking this unobjectively and unbiasedly, we give Brock the best chance to win now and later. But he didn't seem like he wanted to be here, and John Elway put it perfectly. If a player doesn't want to be here and they don't want to be a Bronco, then good riddance. And that's kind of ultimately how I feel with Brock. I'm appreciative of him for putting us in a position to win a Super Bowl. People kind of get it twisted. They say he is the reason we got to the Super Bowl, or he deserves credit for us winning the Super Bowl. He deserves no credit at all for us winning the Super Bowl. He deserves credit for putting us in that position to go win the Super Bowl. And I will forever be grateful to him for that as a Broncos fan. I wish him nothing but luck in Houston. I think he'll do some great things there with that franchise. But ultimately, I think John Elway made a great decision here by not matching that offer. And honestly, I don't think Brock is worth $18 million a year. I don't think he was worth $16 million a year, quite frankly. So all in all, I'm pretty happy we didn't re-sign Brock Osweiler. I think it's kind of a win-win for both parties. Look, like, of all the free agents that we had, like, Brock Osweiler was kind of one of the guys that I was, like, least concerned about losing. I think he's easily replaceable. I don't think, a guy deserves $18 million a year after starting 6 games, and I think it's kind of very, again, a very entitled decision for a guy to think that he's worth that after 6 starts. And again, I think Brock definitely kind of made a petty decision here by leaving Denver. But, again, it's kind of a win-win for everyone involved. It's a bit of a slap in the face to us because we were the team that drafted him. We were the team that gave him the opportunity to showcase his talent. But, it is what it is. Again, it's a business decision. Brock Osweiler could give 2 fucks about me. He'd give 2 fucks about the city of Denver. And he'd give 2 fucks about Broncos fans. He cares about himself, his family, and his career. And ultimately, I respect that. And he made the best decision for his career financially, and what he thought, I guess a team that would give him a better chance to showcase his talent. So, congrats to Brock. In a way, good riddance, but, ultimately, good for him. And I think he'll do big things in Houston. And honestly, I think it's a win-win for us. He wasn't worth $18 million a year. And I'm sure whether it be in the draft, whether it be in a trade, or in free agency, we can find someone that's not only better, but even, as good as Brock for much cheaper price. So kind of a win-win for Brock and the Broncos, and good luck to him in Houston. I'm sure he'll do big things for Texans fans. This is a fan base that has had to watch David Carr and Brian Hoyer and Ryan Mallett and Ryan Fitzpatrick as their starting quarterback for the past 10 to 15 years. So now they get a guy that's much better in Brock Osweiler, who can only get better and has a very high ceiling. Of course, Malik Jackson signed with Jacksonville yesterday. The Jaguars for 5 years, $90 million, $42.5 million guaranteed. I mean, just a huge deal. Like Brock Osweiler made a business decision. I mean, the Broncos, I believe, were offering him like $11 million per year. He'll make $15 million per year with this deal from Jacksonville. And he got $42.5 million guaranteed. I mean, that's just something that we were never going to offer him. We shouldn't have offered him. We didn't. And you can't blame him for taking that. I mean, $42.5 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money. And now he goes to Jacksonville, which is a young and upcoming team. He can be an anchor of that defense, kind of give them a pass rushing presence, especially interiorly, that they really haven't had over the past several seasons. So it's not only a good fit for Malik, but it's obviously a great fit for Jacksonville. Gives them something that they desperately have needed. And, like Brock Osweiler to an extent, I can't hate on Malik. I definitely have a lot less ill will towards Malik than I do Brock Osweiler, because I do think, unlike Brock Osweiler, Malik probably really did want to be in Denver and wanted to be with the Broncos. But, I mean, you can't blame him for taking this deal, because the deal we offered him was not even in the stratosphere of this deal. That's what kind of makes Brock's decision so kind of troubling, is because the deal we gave him was definitely in the ballpark, of what he got. Whereas, this deal Malik Jackson got, we were offering him $11 million a year. He gets $15 million a year here, plus $42.5 guaranteed. So you can't blame him. Congrats to Malik. Again, I'm bummed to lose him. I think he's a huge loss for us. This is a guy that is just only 26 years old, just entering the prime of his career. I expect him to do some great things for that Jaguars defense. And again, I'm super bummed. Pretty sad to see him go. I mean, we lose a huge presence on the interior of our defensive line. We lose probably our primary interior pass rusher as well. A super athletic guy. I mean, Malik Jackson is also a great guy at swatting balls down at the line of scrimmage, so you kind of lose that as well. Just losing a great versatile player, it's obviously a huge hit to our defense, and obviously provides a big hole now in terms of our interior pass rushing. So credit to Malik. Again, really no ill will towards him at all. He got a great deal. It's a great fit for him as well in Jacksonville. And I can't blame the guy for taking so much more money than we were offering him. Again, like Brock, I can't blame Brock either. At the end of the day, it all is a business decision. But unlike Brock, I think Malik didn't make a petty decision here. He didn't make even a greedy decision here. I think he got a phenomenal deal that no one probably could have turned down. And he took it. So kudos to Malik. He will definitely be missed here in Denver, and I wish him nothing but the best in Jacksonville. Jaguars fans, get excited. This man is going to do some great things for your defense and your franchise starting next year. Danny Trevathan, linebacker, signed with the Chicago Bears, reuniting with John Fox. He got a 4-year, $24 million deal, $12 million guarantee. He goes to a familiar situation and works with a coach that he obviously is very fond of in John Fox. Not sure, how great he's going to do in Chicago or how great the Bears will be with him, but, he gets $12 million guaranteed over 4 years. Again, probably not a deal he was going to get here in Denver, so can't hate on him there. Go get that paper, do big things in Chicago, and he'll be a great addition to that linebacking core for the Bears. Gives them, again, a guy that is great in coverage, a guy that can cover the middle of the field, great tackler, great leader, and just kind of just a guy that is the quintessential professional, a guy that works hard. You never hear a bad thing about Dan Trevathan, and again, best of luck to him. I think it's a significant loss, but to a very, very small extent, and he will be missed as well, Dan Trevathan, here in Denver. It sucks to see him go, but definitely not shocked at all that he left. I heard Atlanta, from the get-go of free agency, Atlanta or Chicago was going to get him. So best of luck to him there. And if Brandon Marshall wasn't a free agent priority for the Broncos before, he definitely is now with Dan Trevathan getting signed. We got to find a way to re-sign Brandon Marshall, who, in my opinion, is a much better linebacker, not only physically, but probably as well in terms of intelligence. Not the best last 24 hours to be a Broncos fan or be a member of the Broncos organization, but you know what? I got, again, the utmost faith and confidence in John Elway. I give him the utmost respect for not overpaying these guys, primarily Brock Osweiler, and I think he'll do whatever he can to put us back in a position to succeed, and I'm sure he will fill in the voids that these guys leave behind. And also, real quick, leave me a comment below. Who do you think will be the Broncos' starting quarterback going into 2016? Heard Kaepernick's name, heard RG3's name. You got someone that you'd like to see the Broncos draft. Would love to hear your guys' comments as well on kind of that whole situation now that the Broncos have. Who do you go get now to be the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos in 2016? So, again, I'm done talking. Thanks for watching, as always. And regardless of who plays for this team, it will always be Go Broncos. We're still the defending world champs, and you best believe we got a chip on our shoulder now. And Brock, we'll see you next year, buddy. Can't wait to see you coming back in Denver in that new Houston Texans uniform. We're going to get that pretty dirty for you.